Welcome back. In this video we are talking about privacy by design, or data protection by design and by default. This is a concept that's been in place for a number of years and has always been in data protection law in some way, but it's now become much more apparent, and it's actually become part of the GDPR, which is why it's become so much more important and so much more of a focal point. As always, we're going to be looking at what it is, what is privacy by design, what is data protection by design, how do you implement it, why is it important, and also what the benefits of having a good privacy by design program within your organisation. As we always say, if you enjoyed this video or if you find it useful, please do give us a like, give us a share, and if you have any questions, please do add a comment down below. So what is data protection by design? So data protection by design was originally known as privacy by design. Now the concept hasn't changed, just the way that they call it has changed, and data protection by design is a fundamental part of the GDPR. Obviously, as an organisation, you have to ensure that you have appropriate technical and organisational controls to make sure that you're safeguarding the personal data that you are processing and using. Data protection by design is about ensuring that those fundamental controls are embedded within your systems, within your processes, within your business activities at the very, very beginning, at the very inception of that idea, and then are followed all the way through, right through the processing activity. So data protection by design as a concept is really just about making sure that your organisation, your processing activities are running in line with the requirements of the law, and it really is a cultural change to get that embedded. So implementing a good data protection by design program or strategy is not a small task. It's a real cultural change, and depending on the size of your organisation will depend on how easy that is for you. Lots of sort of small companies and startups will find implementing a data protection by design ethos or strategy much easier because they're smaller, they're more agile, they're probably creating new systems or taking on new systems and processes, and at the beginning of that journey, which is really where you can start to implement these changes and make sure these controls are going in. If you're in a large corporate organisation or a much larger multinational body, for instance, you're going to find that you've got lots and lots of historic and different systems, and it's going to be really hard to go back and implement a retrospective change on those systems. But what you really need to do is embed the culture in the same way that you do with data protection impact assessments. That privacy by design and data protection by design needs to come in at the very, very, very beginning of a business process, a business activity, or system implementation. We are seeing now that much of the bigger vendors, the larger commercial organisations, are starting to build privacy by design into their systems. So it's coming through in the third sector, and it's coming through in the software and the vendor sector. But within your organisation, the best thing to do is to start to talk to your board, start to talk to your execs, and try and get in touch with the software teams, with the development teams. And if you are a DPO, then make sure that you're embedded in those initial meetings and those initial discussions, and that's where you're going to start to embed your data protection by design activities. So obviously the benefits, as always, are you're going to be complying with the regulation. That's always the first thing that we say. The second thing is, though, that you'll have a better understanding of your business. You'll have more efficient processes and more efficient controls, and you'll be able to respond to requests from individuals a lot quicker than you would be if you didn't have effective data protection by design in place. It's important to remember that data protection by design isn't just about how you collect the information. So it's not just about what you're collecting, it's about data minimization, it's about introducing subject access controls and individual right controls, so making information easy to port from a system, easy to access from a system, and easy to find in the event that one of your customers or an individual wants to see something that you hold about them. It's also about records retention, so making sure that your system is set up to enable you to delete things and remove things from the system on request as well, which historically wasn't something that was ever really built in. Obviously, the other side of that is it's about making sure that your system and the security that surrounds that system is appropriate and is in line with the risk associated with the information that you're going to be holding on it. So making sure that you've got good levels of access controls in place, good levels of encryption. If you're using cloud-based solutions, making sure that the access to those solutions is controlled and is accessed in the right way. So it really is about absolutely everything within the regulation and everything within good best practice. So it's not just about data protection, it's about information security and cyber security as well. So it's about really having that holistic approach to introducing new processes, new systems and new activities within your organisation, and making sure that from the very start you know what you need to do and you're building a process or building a system that meets with those requirements. As always, there's a huge amount more detail that we could go into when we're talking about data protection by design, but we do try and keep these videos relatively short. If you have any particular questions, please do feel free to drop us a message, and you'll see my email at the end of this video, and obviously our website running down the bottom of the page here now. That's it for this week. So if you have any questions, please do let us know, and we look forward to speaking to you again. Thanks very much.